say that. Okay. Now, me, not going to tell you, Asma or Mabel, why President Bill sacked me. I no more go able to tell the nation. But waiting me feel say lead to me sacking now, they tell you. One, as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, an office where I hope say when I become president, we will divide for very good reasons. So that the Attorney General will be independent, he not go afraid for prosecute ministers, and even the president, if it comes to it, notwithstanding the immunity which the president get. But if he breached the Constitution, he could be impeached and prosecuted. Now that people they don't know in this country.
So how that's connected to you sack one?
Me sack one, as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, he been supposed for the refer legal matters to me for advice. Now the first tender I see, President appoint a minister when he don't take the oath. When I pull me hand for make we shake hands, he draw a hand behind. Me wife observe him, other people they observe him.
Why?
Patuna ask him. But I knew that they no.
Oh.
Go bitter. If you recall Asma, in the early 90s, when we they move from military rule to democracy, now me single-handedly reorganize the SLPP. We all man the free for camp, even Salia. Now me same plane for SB Mara, when I've been the vice president of SLPP in the north, that is Kabbalah. I sent for Magai Salone, when I've been the vice president Eastern region. I sent for Baba Sila, the vice president Western area. Now me rebuild SLPP.
All right.
So why should I hate them?
Okay.
Now the way then they play the politics now I not agree with. But me no they hate anybody.
We'll catch up on that later. But earlier I asked you about your manifesto, which you make mention.
I to the manifesto.
Which you make mention of 12 areas them.
Pillars, yes.
Pillars. The Salone People's Party get 5 and the APC gets 10. So let me know what today inside the manifesto.
Yeah, but you don't allow me make her finish this. I'm going to cut it short. But make her not just hang things the people of Salone get for no. So me, as minister, as Attorney General, I write to the president. I say, Mr. President, I say you don't appoint 9 people then at the cabinet we constitutionally not qualified, but deliberately are not named them. I say then they breach section 76, 1B of the Constitution, which is 76 1B say, if you don't get appointment, before you take up that appointment, if you dey work for government and you dey receive remuneration from the consolidated fund or monies voted by parliament, you get for resign 12 months. We me no agree with, but now the law. I believe say if you as teacher, even with your salary, they find it difficult for survive. Then you go sit down for 12 months. Waiting go happen at your home. Your wife go left you. Section 171, subsection 3 and 4, they tell you who that na public officer. So now the same thing affect this man Kone with the ECSL now. He's not qualified.
Why you say so?
Because now being government officer, he dey receive in salary from the consolidated fund, and he not be done resign 12 months at the time where they may appoint them. But that is something else which the Supreme Court will have to deliberate upon. Let's move forward. Now, since I write President that letter, he not respond. And number 2, I tell and say the appointment of this man working the pass make like say it's a big book pass everybody. Professor David Francis. Me feel say I tell Francis, say, I say, David, I say this subject what you do. I say na subject when a fallback subject when you want to go university, you not get the qualification for going to any of the institutions and you fall back on peace and conflict. I say na woman subject that one day. So no can begin to make nonsense now as to see it's a book.
Mr.
So
Magai,
wait please. So I tell President
we no go get to Dr. Francis for respond
no, you go call
the
am,
medium with regards the
No,
allegation
call am.
wey you dey make
Call
on
am.
wetin.
No, I dey tell you why wetin
Yes.
lead to me sacking ask my
We want for listen.
Remitly guarantees date and time of delivery on money.
Connect am. Me na experienced lawyer, I dey connect am, give me time. I no dey waste your time. So I tell am say under the constitution we bin don forget but chief minister as Andrew Yago tell una since 1960 something or in the early 70s 72.
Right.
I say when you look at the constitution wetin dey there na president and vice president nothing no dey but chief minister. I say so if you go appoint this man chief minister you dey breach the constitution for
So
which
now all
you
anything and then you think say make the president
not to
sack
that.
you?
After that now, Dr. Professor Francis, the then speaker, Abbas Bundu, and others, they meet na Kona Lodge, King Street. Then say make them go make representation to Mr. President, say me not to team player. I don't know, but I think now all that contribute. And above that, I tell the judges and say, as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, when term don't retire, when is 65 as per the Constitution, I know they give anybody 1 day.
So
I say because then go let the law, then go interpret the law for please the powers that be, simply because they want for sit down as judge.
So how about the allegation we say you drive the Terwin Attorney General?
I drive?
You at the camp. I mean, you drive go Makeni and get meeting with the former president whilst you be Attorney General. And in that meeting, also allegation be there of you receiving money from.
You know
from
when I
former
tell
president.
Ernest Microma, I say na so then say oh, na laugh he laugh. He say even for go on radio and debunk am. He say but since he not come from the president, he not dey wasting time. After the
true?
elections, Asma, I not cross Waterloo for 1.5 years. And besides, that me lot na Aberdeen, where former president in West, be make them go destroy me fence, take all my building materials, will be meet me and honest. He agree for compensate me.
Along that same period, eh?
Yeah. No, before the elections.
Okay.
You know? So he agreed for compensate me. Up to now, he not compensate me yet. And the amount now about $250,000. So me go left here go for $15,000. Boy, big pass that handy.
All right. Well, when we come back, stay with me. We go look at the manifesto.
APC be informed government. In 2018, we give similar support to SLPP, now make the informed government. But we don't look at the stage and see, say, yes, it's fine for be a kingmaker. But if things not they go right, I think, say, you where they make the king, you say for where the king includes and see if you can move the nation forward.
So you don't make mention of what you do for bringing the APC na power, the SLPP also na power, and you don't decide say not for just be a king, but not kingmaker, but now you self want be the king. And how you want for be king?
Thank you very much. One common mistake, as I've been talk to my brother Andrew, where most radio stations, if not all, they make. I not go call them misinformation. I go call them disinformation because there is a subtle difference between misinformation and disinformation. Then they give the impression saying that only two political parties in this country, APC and SLPP, are not true. There are 17 registered political parties, 13 of which ECSL give the green light for contest this election. Me don't analyze the 13 candidates them. It seems to me that not only 3 main presidential candidates people then for take seriously. Namely, PMDC, when I mean the aspirant, APC, with Dr. Samura Kamara, na the aspirant, and SLPP President Julius Maada Bio, na the aspirant. You see, the mistake where we, the opposition parties, them make, before them in prorogue Parliament, or before the Parliament dissolve, we mean for amend a particular section of the Constitution, we give a president the right for continue even when in term done. The reason being that, as one can see in the case of mayors, chairpersons of local councils, 3 months to the elections, then tell them for step down and hand over to other people then. The reason for that is that they want to create a level playing field. Now, with President Bio still in the chair as president, it use state apparatus such as money, vehicles, security forces to an advantage where you know for be. But I'm sure when PMDC take over by the grace of the Almighty, come 2024, we go rectify them errors then day. Now, who that na Charles Francis Magai? Charles Francis Kundu Magai na a lawyer, cum politician. I don't practice law for 51 years, and I believe say na me na the most senior lawyer where they practice now, where they alive. And me na the oldest politician at Sierra Leone, not in terms of age, Sierra Leone. If we get discipline, believe you me, the sky is the limit. Uda na Dr. Samura Kamara. Dr. Samura Kamara, to me, na a gentleman. Honestly, when I see Dr. Samura in politics, I can say, no, this man, he don't miss the road. Because he's so much of a gentleman that politics are nothing saying in calling. But unfortunately, we all don't find ourselves in politics, so be it. Who that na Maada, Julius Maada Bio? Maada Bio go board school and left board school in 1984-85 school year. He enlisted at the army in 1987. In first postings, na bin Lunge garrison. Later, he go Cambia district as part of the economic emergency unit, where APC under the then President Momo be established. He became a platoon commander in 1988 at Benguima Training Center. Now been part of what they call Leone Bat 2 contingent, we take part in the civil war in Liberia.
Right.
When the war intensified, they withdraw that battalion there, then come back, then call them the Elite Glido Battalion. Later, then disintegrate, and then he go Daru Barracks. Go join the Tiger Battalion. He remained na Daru until the 1992 coup. Now been the liaison officer during the NPRC regime.
All right.
No, it's fine for make them know the background, because as politicians, we get to be open to the people. Make them know who done and then leader them.
All right, so I'll come to the PMDC and go back to, so you begin mention about this information where you say seem for don't they happen because some media house on the projects like not just 3 political parties then where they contest the election.
Yes.
We bring me back to concern where the public itself don't they raise again, but the other political party them, how much they don't do for make themselves relevant for let people and know see. Then let we look at the PMDC, for example, since 2018, the last election, so this one way Salone also June 24. What in PMDC be done they do from 2018 to now?
PMDC been done day in existence from 2006 up to this moment and of relevance.
How?
You know, not to the one that where they go na cutting tree, where they go hala hala. Oh, we na politicians, now they matter. Some of us believe in tacit approach. Like me, so now I borrow a leaf from the late Dr. John Carifa Smart because I convince say door-to-door campaigning much more effective than when you go team up na cutting tree. 300 people then gather. Perhaps out of that 300, 150 to 200 not even members of your party. They're not even registered for vote. So not to say because we not be the yangi, we know they. Some people they say PMDC be don't die, but we don't know say when die man wake up. If they say person we will all be done sabi, he don't die. Like go sit down at this room. That door open, we see and waiting with the world they run not so. In other words, the demand they become fearful.
So what's the current strength of your membership na PMDC?
Well, that one day me not go able to give you the strength. Not to say I not sabiam, but I know they give you the strength. After the elections, now you when you phone me, you say yes, congratulations, sir. Indeed, when I get strength.
So let we also look at waiting the PMDC get for Sierra Leoneans them. We don't see the two, even though you say not to two political parties them, but like when you take parliament, I don't remember when last the PMDC gets representation at parliament.
Good.
But they don't they ask for manifestos of political parties. And the last 2 weeks we don't they see the two SLPP and APC don't pull a manifesto telling Sierra Leoneans what they get for them.
Good.
In your own case, the PMDC, what do you have for the people of Sierra Leone?
And they can't tell you in a minute, but one serious issue they way you don't touch, where I think say I need for clarify. How many people we don't get in a parliament? You remember in 2007, the elections, PMDC been win 37 parliamentary seats. Nyale when I been the neck officer at the Eastern Province, na mean robbery of 27. Mina nine been the with the Mina of blessed memory, nine na been the neck officer na the South. We got 10 parliamentary seats. Now we APC been qualified for the runoff. But then SLPP I later get for no say they may go bribe them way. Now each of the offices them we been get for do with elections for make they not make we qualify, make them
you
qualify
get evidence?
with APC. Yes. Ask me wherefore you know very well. John Benjamin been go to win a house. I raised that issue which is saying go charge na Tailiana Mawa Mutimua. If you na mende, it means yes, there is some truth in it, but that is now history. We shall come and apologize. So having addressed that one, I want to tell you now say I don't read the manifesto of SLPP. I don't read the manifesto of APC. I think SLPP get 5 pillars, APC get 10 pillars. PMDC, I don't give you a copy of the manifesto. When I miss self write them, na 12 pillar manifesto. Where I go address na ya 12. I'll give you a copy before we go. Okay? Now, before I go further, I want for debunk 2 important issues where the public they ask. One, waiting make them sack me as Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
We before get cancelled and they but we don't spill now.
No, waiting they happen. I want for approach this whole thing sequentially.
Okay.
You know, me not only a trained lawyer, but me na the most experienced lawyer in Sierra Leone today. Many people then go say, but Mr. Magai, why you been jagged in your presentation? But since now we're under control, I'm ready to go along with you.
You can go ahead, sir.
Good, thank you. Now, 2 things. One, people then ask, why make President Bio sack me? Constitutionally speaking, President Bio get the right for hire and fire. But now go recall, say, even as I sit here, one day President Bio not go on radio, explain to the nation why make he sack me. When President Bio be want support, in and Kanja go to me in a house. Anytime they car, they call me wife as witness. We sit down, he want grab go hold me foot for ask me for support. I say that is primitive. Go sit down. I know what you are there for. We don't decide for give you an opportunity, which we did. And I no regret.
That's been in 2018?
2018, yes.
Okay.
Now, me, not going able to tell you, Asma or Mabel, why President Bio sacked me. And I no more go able to tell the nation. But waiting me feel say lead to me sacking, now they tell you. One, as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, an office where I hope say when I become president, we will divide for very good reasons. So that the Attorney General will be independent, he not go afraid for prosecute ministers, and even the president, if it comes to it, notwithstanding the immunity which the president get, but if he breached the constitution, he could be impeached and prosecuted. Now that people they don't know in this country.
So how that's connected to you sack one?
Me sack one, as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, he been supposed for the refer legal matters to me for advice. Now the first tender I see, President appoint a minister when he don't take the oath. When I pull me hand for make we shake hands, he draw a hand behind. Me wife observe him, other people they observe him.
Why?
Patuna ask him. But I knew that they no, I go bitter. If you recall Asma, in the early 90s, when we they move from military rule to democracy, now me single-handedly reorganize the SLPP. We all man the free for camp, even Salia. Now me same plane for SB Mara, when I've been the vice president of SLPP in the north, that is Kabbalah. I sent for Michael Salone, when I've been the vice president Eastern region. I sent for Baba Sila, the vice president Western area. Now me rebuild SLPP.
All right.
So why should I hate them?
Okay.
Now the way then they play the politics, now I know I agree with. But me no they hate anybody.
We'll catch up on that later. But earlier I asked you about your manifesto, which you make mention.
I to the manifesto.
Which you make mention of 12 areas them.
Pillars, yes.
Pillars. The Salone People's Party get 5 and the APC gets 10. So let me know what today inside the manifesto.
Yeah, but you don't allow me make her finish this. I'm going to cut it short. But make her not just hang things the people of Salone get for no. So me, as minister, as Attorney General, I write to the president. I say, Mr. President, I say you don't appoint 9 people then at the cabinet we constitutionally not qualified, but deliberately I not name them. I say then they breach section 76, 1B of the Constitution, which is 76 1B say, if you don't get appointment, before you take up that appointment, if you dey work for government and you dey receive remuneration from the consolidated fund or monies voted by parliament, you get for resign 12 months. We me no agree with, but now the law. I believe say if you as teacher, even with your salary, they find it difficult for survive. Then you go sit down for 12 months. Waiting will happen at your home. Your wife go left you. Section 171, subsection 3 and 4, they tell you who that na public officer. So now the same thing affect this man Kone with the ECSL now. He's not qualified.
Why you say so?
Because now being government officer, he dey receive in salary from the consolidated fund, and he not be done resign 12 months at the time where they may appoint them. But that is something else which the Supreme Court will have to deliberate upon. Let's move forward. Now, since I write President that letter, he not respond. And number 2, I tell and say the appointment Or this man working the pass make like say it's a big book pass everybody. Professor David Francis. Me feel say I tell Francis, say, I say, well, David, I say this subject what you do. I say subject when a fallback subject when you want to go university, you not get the qualification for going to any of the institutions and they fall back on peace and conflict. I say na woman subject that one day. So no can begin to make nonsense now to see it's a big book.
Mr.
So
Magai,
wait please. So I tell President
we not go get to Dr. Francis for respond in the medium with regards the allegation where you they make on waiting.
No, I tell you why
Yes.
you lead to me sacking ask my
we want for
No, I
listen.
dey connect them. Me na experienced lawyer, I dey connect am, give me time. I no dey waste your time. So I tell am say under the constitution we been don't forget but chief minister as Andrew Yago tell una since 1960 something or in the early 1772.
Right.
I say when you look at the constitution wetin dey na president and vice president nothing no dey but chief minister. I say so if you go appoint this man chief minister you dey breach the constitution for
So
which
now all
you
anything and then you think say make the president
not to
sack
that.
you?
After that now, Dr. Professor Francis, the then speaker, Abbas Bundu, and others, they meet na Kona Lodge, King Street. Then say make them go make representation to Mr. President, say me not to team player. I don't know, but I think now all that contribute. And above that, I tell the judges and say, as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, when term don't retire, when he's 65 as per the Constitution, I know they give anybody 1 day.
So
I say because then go left the law, then go interpret the law for please the powers that be, simply because they want for sit down as judge.
So how about the allegation we say you drive the tailwind Attorney General?
I drive?
You at the camp. I mean, you drive go Makeni and get meeting with the former president whilst you be Attorney General. And in that meeting, also allegation be there of you receiving money from.
You know,
from
when
the
I
former
tell
president.
Ernest by Kuruma, I say na so they say, oh, na laugh, he laugh. He say he for go on radio and debunk him. He say, but since he not come from the president, he not dey wasting time.
What's
After
that
the
true?
elections, Asma, I not cross Waterloo for 1.5 years. And besides, that me lot na Aberdeen, where former president in West be make them go destroy me fence, take all my building materials, will be meet me and honest. He agree for compensate me.
Along that same period, eh?
Yeah. No, before the elections.
Okay.
You know? So he agreed for compensate me. Up to now, he not compensate me yet. And the amount na about $250,000. So me go left here go for $15,000, but I big pass that hand.
All right. Well, when we come back, stay with me. We go look at the manifesto, the 12 pillars where you get for Sierra Leone and STEM as we go into the June 24th election. The program, na Good Morning Salone, and it come to you from 98.1 FM. We will come over now to Andula Valley, maybe.
All right, so we continue the reports. We then just some poll where they show the projections, them where they don't forecast, but how the electoral map sound like for the June 24 elections. Good morning once more, and welcome to the program again.
Good morning, Mabel. Good morning.
Well, we'll be done to get Andrew in and out of the studio for some time now, but you don't say you not only come. But today we want for level to this year poll report. When are the latest one way on a don't poll we now the forecast of the electoral map for the June 2023 elections we actually go for happen on the 24th of June. Before we can know about waiting on our fair not exactly, just take the listeners and viewers in our Facebook through the methodology we want to use for do the survey.
Thank you very much. And before I just say that, I just say thank you very much when I make arts. You know, in our studio today with the revered just Magai. I remember we would go school. We can almost a class just for go see how they debate. In fact, if we not be take time off, we don't pull in our school self. So thank you very much. I can get an opportunity for sit on by you today. Clearly, Sarah Paul, you know, say we election they come, people then can invest money per election, and if you don't take time, you don't invest money till then say you lost. We lost. So then that can make some man they have to warm themselves. So and the electoral system, the electoral institutions, then there is some suspicion. There can be suspicion about it. So this country will not get opinion polling. If you go to advanced democracies, then go to a call opinion poll, and that opinion poll day is so scientific, it's so credible that too often when they can call the results, then the result are not too far from the opinion poll. So opinion poll can get to a call margin of error. If I talk say today this now 20% this policy they get, it can get maybe 18% or it can get 22%. Then it within 2% margin of error. So I'm glad you asked me about the methodology. So we actually take the National Electoral Commission, ECSL, the Electoral Commission Sierra Leone, then sample the voter registration centers, the VRCs. You know, say voter registration center, now they Sierra Leoneans then get for votes. NEC get 3,360 VRCs then. So we go to a call randomization. We randomly select 245 of them. So that 9 days we sample. Maybe people can wonder what they call sample. Sample or sampling, it really technical, but for breaking down, now like way they cook soup. For taste that soup day, well, for let you know whether soup salt pass mark or salt not do, you know they drink the whole bowl soup. You just take small no more, you taste some. But for let that soup day, the taste be all side, you get for stir, you get for mix them. So what you can do in sampling, before they even do the sampling, we get what we call randomization. So we they randomly select from that 3,600, 260 people, voter registration centers, we randomly select the first stage. Now for randomly select 245. Out of that 245, we randomly select, inside any VRC, we randomly select 10 households out of that 245. So it means that 2,450 Sierra Leoneans they will target. So like for example, people like talk say, no, that sample size is small. Out of 3,400,000 and something voters, how you go just talk to 2,400 people then? They talk say, no, that day na the opinion that one day. So it's actually randomization. So for example, if you let people know about how IGR day or how radio democracy day, if you randomly talk to radio listeners or people the way they read IGR their reports, you talk to 500 of them, it can give you a scope for saying, no, now so people in the field. You don't need to talk to anybody. So now the first thing that they were sampling. The second thing we ensure say the survey spread across. So if you don't take 245 polling centers, the survey spread across. And then they would say call proportional, at a big word, proportionality by size. So that means say district like Bond, way big past Freetown, you're not going to interview the same number of people like how they interview Freetown. So it means when you look at the size of Freetown, they get a larger sample than Bo they get a larger sample than Bond. So now so it spread right across. In the end, we enumerators they all train within the Gona field, then they actually carry machine. So now machine-based data collection. So if they can host Mabel, the first thing when they ask, how many people in there when are adults then? We don't register for votes. That they name all the kind inside the machine. The machine and they talk to asthma. Not to the enumerator they select, not to me they select. Even instead not to me they select.
Okay.
In fact, so we get a GPS system. If that enumerator they will tell and say, go Bond. The sample tell and say, go Bond. You not go Bond, you go sit under the tree, feel them. We they know. Like in America, they know inside the GPS system. So we know they get discretion, the enumerator know they get discretion. And the sampling we will do, the methodology we will do, you do this survey 100 times within that same period. And not talk say within a different period though, because in campaign period, people their opinion they change. But within that same period, between the 20th to the 26th of May, now the same result they get.
This latest poll owner do, Sierra poll, where IGR do, zoom in on the June 2023 elections, a forecast of the electoral map of Sierra Leone, and also na zoom in on the seats na the council where the
And Parliament
and
as well.
Parliament, sorry, where the outcome of the elections. Take we through, Dandy.
Thank you very much, Asman. So we first we take all of the list.
With Remitly, I can send money abroad fast and know right when it arrives. Download the Remitly app today.
Parties and not submit the one that will get access to, of course, all of the list that will pay for different political parties. Then, because Sierra Leone now a proportional representation system now they can implement, and within that they means the magic number now is 11.9. So if only way you get 11.9 at a district, because they call it district block, now you go qualify for sit down at the table for share the seats there. So then the survey force. Now, which party or which independent candidate they get 11.9% at any district? So, for example, if you start with a district within Bo gets 12 seats. Where we do the survey, the APC get 10% na Bo. All other parties then get around 1%. Then SLPP get 88% in Bo. So it's difficult. But the campaign get for good. Maybe sometimes APC go move from 10% to 12%. We will make it get 11.9%. We will make it get 1 seat. So in we estimation, APC go get between 0 seats to 1 seat inside Bo. You can't. So we do district by district. If you come to Bombali, APC get 89%. SLPP get 9% in the survey. So it means if SLPP campaign say maybe they will get a chance or opportunity for get 1 seat. So SLPP is projected to get between 0 to 1 seat. Because Bombali gets 8 seats, it's possible say APC will get between 7 or clear all the seats then. So when we take the survey for look at the list for forecast one after another. So we focus for local councils, we focus for parliament, and we focus for women, then the amount of women that they can at parliament, and we'll focus back for the current MP, then the one that we don't just come out. How many of them we expect say them for that they come back to parliament? The result we'll get, we don't list everything. The first result we'll get now that overall, with the project say for parliament, the next parliament, SLPP will get between 53% to 59%. APC will get between 37% to 46%. NGC will get between 0.7% to 1.5%. There is a reason for that. You see, say, if you take this current map, you compare it to the 2002 proportional representation map, you see, say SLPP as a party, it competes well under PR system than first past the post system. Because if you can't place like Freetown, it will get like 30-35%. Under first past the post, so say you get seat, but under PR system, you are sure of getting 30-35% of the seat. It's the same in Falaba, it's the same in Kabbalah, it's the same in Cambia. So you see, say the PR system, it make the ruling party, it get a lot of seats then across the country.
Before you go to your next, you for continue for talk. In you this you pull like who starts for talk with Mr. Magai, we say not to just the party then they in all this sampling we just see APC, SLPP and NGC, but there are other political parties, registered political parties. Why not then here?
Well, now the one that we statistically will get numbers we like you see say even for NGC not only in Cambia.
Okay. We
know it will not happen for the past 1 month now. The party then see after in every election since 2002. SLPP and APC, they always get around 84-85% of the total vote since 2002. Now, in 2007, 9 PMDC actually dislodged SLPP in the south. It took almost 4 or 5 of the 7 districts then. They actually get big presence. Since that time, the way down there happened, SLPP, APC, in every election, where people talk say, you get other political parties there. Not that people are no one for consider other political parties. But Sierra Leone, the kind electoral system we'll get, it's almost like a de facto 2-party system. Right. Nine we get, yes, Mabel.
All right, continue for the week. We'll come back to you shortly. Nimna and Wulavali, the executive director for IGR, there this morning. They talk about the latest Sierra Pool survey reports. We then just on pool later. Now the program we go continue for get details for the reports. The program Good Morning Salone they continue.
And we come over to his studio guest again, Charles Magai, we are the presidential candidate for the PMDC party. Now manifesto where he go pull na do just now. He get 12 pillar them. He talk about unity, uniting Sierra Leone, providing affordable and sustainable food security. He also talk about provide employment for Sierra Leoneans, addressing the health sector, education, the rule of law, road safety, empowerment, stabilizing the economy, devolution of power, stroke responsibility, children's welfare, international relations. Mr. Magai, when you watch this and other, the two manifesto they don't come out, more or less similarities than they. So these are Sierra Leonean issue where we all go agree say now the problem and the way the country gets some of them. So how you plan for execute the 12 pillars there so?
Thank you very much, Asma. I agree say similarities than they, but we don't comprehensively address issues when are burning issues on the minds of Sierra Leoneans. I mean, if you look at the SLPP manifesto and the APC manifesto, certain things that we will address now, not inside it. And we not only just give una say uniting Sierra Leoneans, we don't tell una how we intend for unite Sierra Leoneans, i.e., we introduce civic education at schools them and universities about people then we don't contribute in different ways towards the development of Sierra Leone, starting in primary schools. Relocating ministries such as mines, agriculture, and local government to the provinces. We say interaction will take place between officials of the respective ministries and the indigenes within the relocated areas. Introducing teaching of indigenous languages in primary and secondary schools, at least one indigenous language for be a core subject. So we not only give you saying that this we want for do for unite, we tell you the steps all they take for unite Sierra Leoneans and the difference between we manifesto and the other manifestos. For example, providing affordable and sustainable food security. We tell you say Sierra Leoneans more importance of agriculture in a developing nation. We forbid new roads and repair existing ones for enable farmers them for take them produce from the farm to the market. Government for provide seedlings for farmers and where possible food for work. Particular crops then where they grow na Salone ya. We for discourage Sierra Leoneans from importing them. And how we for discourage Sierra Leoneans from importing them? Now for levy higher taxation. Improving upon the marine resources, for example, fishing, streams, and lobster farming. Improve upon the irrigation system, which is a must if agriculture is to live up to its expectation. Introduce cattle farming for produce, affordable meat, milk, cheese, etc., we go add to me and you with protein. We for discourage importation of fruit juice because we can manufacture them things in Aya from either pineapple, mango, you name it. Provide employment for Sierra Leoneans. In the other manifestos, then they talk about providing employment for youths. Not a youths no more need employment. You the mamina the host. So 10 day, you not single parent. But elect you marry. Now your responsibility for care for the home and make sure say adequate food day for daddy, picking, etc. So we deal with all that one day. Then addressing the health sector. Reviewing training of doctors, nurses, and health workers, and encouraging specialization based on merits, not to which party or which tribe you belong to. Review conditions of service across the board and making special provision for doctors and health workers where they go na the provinces. Because forget doctors and health workers, for relocate, not easy. Explore the possibility of modern medicine and traditional medicine working side by side. Build a state-of-the-art health infrastructure where go act as referral hospitals them. For we belle woman them, we mammy them, we picking them. Introduce free medical service for pregnant and lactating mothers and children under 6 years.
So, Mr. Magai,
Yeah.
since you don't come into active politics and like how you said in states earlier, that from 2006 you set up the PMDC, 2006, right? PMDC come into existence.
Yeah.
So now you don't give alliance to different political parties and we don't come into existence.
Yeah.
And assure you we don't follow waiting we don't happen. Then same the way they give you alliance to them political party then they.
Yeah.
Now we see this 2023 3-page manifesto of the PMDC. You sure say all waiting then at this document were also now the thing them we go address the issues of Sierra Leoneans as it is now.
Maybe I tell you, say, me are the most experienced politician alive in Sierra Leone. I can tell you, say, then one day na the burning issues within at the chest of Sierra Leoneans. And me, as the next president of this republic, I will tell you, say, within 6 months, we will don't begin address some of the issues. And yeah,
Why you starting
then we
saying you are
become
the
very
next?
manifest.
Why you starting saying you are the next president of the republic?
Because I don't do an assessment like how my brother Lavali do on the issue where he just addressed una. I don't do me assessment. You see, Southeast. Now the game get for play. That is
Now you get it.
no. Me not the claim for get any side. Then he say frog not the say I get the whole world. But we say he go do. He go get them. He go protect them. Southeast SLPP PMDC they claim say na them base. Now I make in this coalition of 7 members where APC, PMDC na members. We PMDC we not put up candidates parliamentary. Now the whole of the north we not put na the west. We see down to APC because we know say APC get dominance. So the facts really na the southeast. If you see we puncture SLPP and indeed we the puncture then they game over.
Waiting at the magic where PMDC gets for do that puncturing, they take into consideration from where the campaign period they don't start because, of course, you say you're not going to name on a membership strength in terms of numbers,
No.
but politics gets for do with numbers.
Yeah.
With all the numbers the way we don't see from the APC and the SLPP, for example, whose magic the PMDC get for play for you reach state
Not
house?
to magic. If you don't take time for tour the southeast, you go don't realize say SLPP get more problems than APC or any other political party. The grassroots then are SLPP. They are very dissatisfied with the leadership of SLPP.
When that make you
No
start
way.
to say then go
You know why?
through your support for you?
Now then
How you know so where you dey na the
no,
your
no,
party?
no. I was Minister of Internal Affairs and Local Government in this country in the Tijan Kaba administration. So I know how to gather intelligence. And they send me people then round and they talk to people then. When men they mind you go to the provinces, then they tell you say, men make back, plan make back. When you can't give me 1 bag rice and money at the eat time. But when 10 come for vote, I know who's at the go iba. And do know what's in that what they call me. So I know what I'm talking about. It's not just conjecturing. I dey base them on reality on the ground.
All right,
You're going to be very disappointed.
the election are very expensive
I know.
commodity and
Telling me.
one go on for no usai the PMDC they pull money resources for fund the party, or you also go answer to this allegation where they say now the opposition APC they fund the
You really expect
PMDC.
me for answer that, Andy? I'm not going to answer that, Andy. It's like asking a general where they lead an army into war, how many troops you get, how many arms and ammunition you get. Me, they tell you, say not to APC, they formed me. We and APC then they in coalition. Now make we cede the north and the western area. We know they get run off, we they come into power sharing arrangement. You know, say most countries, England, France, Germany, Nigeria, Kenya, now the trend that one day now, coalescing.
You almost go past 75 in age.
No, I'll be 78 on the 19th of August by God in power.
All right, that's a very good big age. But you ever think say you go be president na Salone?
You dey look at the next president come June 24. Make I no go far away.
And if you don't win the election,
If I not win the election, this na my last attempt.
okay.
If I not win now, I go take and say no to God in wish. And dey retire quietly in Agbangbato and go do serious agriculture.
And you go
But
regret,
I have every confidence that I am the next president.
and
So
you go ever regret if you not ever be president.
No, I not go regret at all.
Okay.
Now the will of God na get for prevail, not to by force of arms or power.
I dey bring you back to the relationship or coalition or waiting at the thing where they between the PMDC and the All People's Congress, because that the way you go now the All People's Congress the headquarter. So many talks been there, but not clear because people there say Charles Francis Magai wants to be the next president after the June 24th elections, and there is a current flag bearer holder also of the All People's Congress APC party where this relationship they between us. So waiting exactly exists where you they throw support for them, but you say one at the same state house outside the one go.
Well, you see, this coalition now a very unique coalition in the sense that we dey coalesce, but at the same time we maintain with individualism as political parties. That day we are going to APC office, we been get a meeting of the coalition. But me na man wey I get respect for time, as you know all know. So I reached there about 30 minutes ahead of the scheduled time. When I reached there, I get for no say, Chief Sumanu Kapen they declare for APC. Now I go sit down there and listen. But when I come on now, people then begin send them now the way they call say I don't join APC.
So how the
If
coalition
I join
dey work?
APC, waiting for ask me when you card, your membership card, not so.
How na coalition they work?
Oh, we did one final step to State House. Make a put on that way there. Now the final
So that go
step-
be the would that go be the head if una dey final step to state house from the APC or from you?
You know what I say? I say if after the 24th June election, APC and SLPP qualify for runoff, all the other 6 parties they were in at the coalition, we all they threw weight behind Samura.
Okay.
If now we and SLPP, then they threw them weight behind me. If now me and Samura qualify, we not they going to run off. We receive the people they money in this country. We they do waiting happen at Ireland, waiting happen at Germany, waiting happen at Kenya. We they go into power sharing. In other words, Samura will take the first 2.5 years, then me take the next 2.5 years, or vice versa.
That's going to be a unique one. But
course.
let we look at the issue around you vote the last elections and where the results come out, reflect the votes where the PMDC people vote. Even there was this saying, say, even you self no vote or your household no
Roaches causing panic? Combat Kill.
DC.
Well, Asma, I'm glad you don't bring that up. One prayer where they pray day and night. Now, for me, Christian, I thought no die. And the man will be succeeded. So that they go get for account to the people of this country which time they vote them in go. So until they don't secure them, they go pull them. By God in power. That's as much as I can say for now.
So if you say next be all the results attended,
Me just say there was dishonesty. And we know how much money cross. But let we left that one. The intimate lawyer, when the time reach, we'll now get the evidence.
so because we're not going to let you suspend hanging and left listeners hanging. So you they take action against NEC or Dr. Christian at all.
Oh, I know they disclose that. And what you know, I go tell you is that when I turn president, the people of this country, they get a right for no, and then go no. Which side we vote and go in 2007, which side we vote and go subsequently. That's all.
All right, well, continue for the between the program. We come over to his studio guest, Ando Lavalley.
All right, so as we come over to Andrew, we don't begin explain the findings them of the Sarah poll on our forecast on just done do for the June 2023 election on the 24th. And if we don't begin explain how the map turn like for waiting and don't fair not. Of course, it obvious say these are just forecasts where it might change, it might not
Definitely.
change, but like Charles Francis Magai don't say, in already your projection that it go for win the election and on our own focus on I do not even pick up or capture the PMDC party. So if you look at the reality, in terms of waiting on a bit think when I do this forecast, because from waiting you read, for example, when you talk about the Bo and you talk about Bombali, like now the political party them one the project say don't forget seats and the now then side and they we don't hear you say now then strong areas them. So like it be obvious say of course now so we go get for come out.
So say Salone, this BNT, really become polarized, and because of that one, then traditional parties they don't come inside and stronghold better.
Andrew, before you continue, we say polarize, waiting and mean.
Okay, so you don't divide by bad one, and we don't divide like bad one. All man don't go whole in your own corner. So we see like for example we'll talk about Bombali. So like Bombali, Potloko, and Tonkolili. So key areas that will say get heavy Limba dominance, heavy team dominance, and key areas that will district that will get heavy Mende dominance. I'm not go surprised for let us see the performance of SLPP in 2018. This performance now they above them. We're not go surprised for us see the performance of APC in 2018 in their areas there. The performance when they make in this election, it go pass them. The district then we really Uncle Charles they talk about game changers. The district they win are big game changers. We expect for see Kono, we expect for see Falaba, we expect for see Kwenadugu, we expect for see Cambia, and of course the election where every Sierra Leonean they pay attention to now the western area, the Freetown election, now every Sierra Leonean they pay attention to. So we actually see say in terms of local councils, with the project say, given what we don't see, with the project say SLPP will get about 11 to 13 local councils. With the project say APC will get about 9 to 11 local councils. So it's possible say at the end of the day they all two will get 11 to 11 out of the 22 councils, they all two will get 11 councils. But currently by the numbers, with the project say SLPP will get around 11 to 13 local councils, APC will get around 9 to 11 local councils. So their numbers can change. Now that make a week before before the election, we do another projection. The one way really interesting a woman, them. We don't campaign quite a lot. And I can say kudos to the current 12 to 13% who get in a parliament who go double them. But from the nomination, except something drastic happen, and me don't know what thing get for happen. One of the reasons why they publish them poll here for say we might see this until past something drastic happen, we're not going to get 30%. So you see, say for example, a district such as Kailan, apart from Freetown, Kailan get for be the highest in terms of contribution of women than the next parliament. Freetown with the forecast say Freetown will get like around five women them na parliament, the next parliament. Kailan will get around 7 women then at the next parliament. In terms of women contribution, out of that 2060, we'd expect say the 60% of the public say this it can go above, it can go below. So what they normally do in the forecast, we get what they call double blind. It's highly technical. So like for example, if you go ask somebody in a Bombali, he say whose party they vote for if the election be tomorrow, then the person say no, me not they talk. The person get right not for talk. If you know to a seasoned researcher, you go left that community there. But the next question will they ask, okay, Lord, which party will you not go vote for at all? That person did the party we need to vote for. Lord talks to the person say, me I need to vote for SLPP at all. Which you go assume say that whose party you go assume say that person they go vote for. So we get a lot of approaches them where researchers and get what they call like proxy questions. So they can ask you one thing, now the same thing I can do as journalists then. One question they can ask you in 5 ways and then take one We talk say this way and I'm more closer. So they try as best as possible for let we make sure say the result they very closer. And one of the things that in 2018 we'll do forecast. We'll do the 2018 forecast will not be published, but we actually use them for monitor the integrity of the result in 2018. So National Elections Watch, now the civil society we mandated for monitor elections. Waiting we they do in elections now for actually shape the content of waiting on democratic engagement in the elections process. So that make we push them here. For if somebody law talks say you wake overnight, they hear say SLPP get 4 seats na Falaba. Then forecast they really show say no, there should be a problem with NTND. So now make forecast around the world is seen for let it give integrity to the electoral process.
Then SLPP decide for go that same day. What do you think is going to happen?
The issue
A
about
violent confrontation will take place.
I think I see 2 documents then. You refer to online and you refer to the physical copy. Maybe there's a need to clarify, let me clarify which documents really way now the document. Because you cannot have 2.
Now make Andrew, we send them that letter.
Yeah.
Which man say, scripta manet. The written word remains.
Okay.
Once you don't reduce them into writing, you know, say no, not to what I've been saying.
Yeah.
So we don't write them. It's up to them now to clarify. We copy the international.
That will help all the
community.
parties then.
We copy all the parties them where they contest. Because it don't make sense, as you self know.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't have 2 competing parties campaigning in the same area on the same day. It don't make sense.
So, Mr. Magai, at this stage, why Salone people for vote you in as the next president or support your coalition where you don't form?
Well, the only reason is that of all the leaders we don't come forward, me get pedigree.
Why?
Sir Milton, Sir Albert, you not been see them. I'm sure you been big, but you hear about them. Now Sir Milton bring independence in this country where blood no flow. He use in own tact. Sir Albert now the man who spread education across the board. Whether he be Timney, he be Mende, when he was Minister of Education, he been the award scholarship to deserving students like Mohammed Surifona, Ibrahim Taki, and others they all. Now make them be waiting them be. I am a product of those 2. And apart from that, I don't come back as a lawyer since 1971 in this country. I don't make my own name. Uda know, you know. I don't think say any lawyer in now will go say Sabi law reach me, let alone pass me. From when I Chief Justice right down.
So if you not win the election, or that you go wish for be the next president for Salone?
Somebody where I believe say get Salone people their interest at heart, not Madam you.
But now the candidates and all they out, so who that you go and let that go to?
But the coalition don't tell you say now we APC, now we are the main pushers, then the other hand then a backup. So it's either me or Samura, period.
so the issue about Kono, now one way.
No, Kono, that's very interesting. What will happen? When I know say they not be allowed C4C for contest. So C4C then can see me, I accept them under my umbrella. So now then they contest under PMDC, na Kono.
How many of
The
them?
last time, na 10 seats there. The last time out of the 10 seats, they won 8 seats. It likely say we will get 7 or perhaps the same 8 seats. We cede bonds to them because we members in a bond, not to trustees they were. They sent to me say they not come forward for contest. They say because SLPP they intimidate them. Mother said we make statement where tantamount to intimidation. So they're afraid. So we cede bonds to C4C. ECSL no agree make the nominate. All the inside that letter will argue.
So inside Kono now you give symbol to like what you say.
Of course, yes,
to,
the board and the contest of the PMDC.
how optimistic you they say they will win the election then?
But history repeats itself.
So PMDC
You
they
know
come
say
back now.
Kono, you know say Kono then you, as my brother been saying now, yeah. I mean, then that people them claustrophobic. In other words, they always stay together. when Kono people then they, if one say na this way we go, they all they follow and go.
Pods is your personal moving and storage team for moves across town or across the country.
You see?
So now,
Then
also they
parochial.
foresee say then they told them support this time around because they can say Kono na one of the swing states
C4C?
then.
C4C is PMDC. C4C no day na this
No, Kono
election.
as a whole. Also you feel say they go swing this time.
Well, before this coalition, Kono had always been divided between C4C in that order and APC. But since APC, they with PMDC now in this coalition, and
You know think
by
say
extension C4C, the answer
you
is
know
very
think say the
obvious.
SLPP seem for the make pathways in Kono?
Impossible.
So, Mr. Magai, I just wanted you clear something. You think say the PMDC party, the way I have been there in 2007, for example, when I still gets that kind,
Cloud?
that kind clout there towards the June 24 election, or when they live in past glory?
No, we're not living past glory. Admittedly, that cloud's not there. The reason being that Sierra Leoneans generally, they always go overzealous for new things. So the tempo go don't drop, but we don't build them up. And when I begin to, I wish you be in day with me when I go Moyamba. It just sound like when Jesus been go Jerusalem. So I get for go Kono, I get for go to the other places. If you get chance, I go ask you, boss, make you come with me. You'll be protected.
All right.
No man no go yarn you. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Magai, how true is it that the Magai family be right a letter in this solo?
Yes, they did, but they one day they na picky, and some of them are not even my guys, so I know I'm for going to that. Otherwise, I go ask for make them do DNA test. So let them
But the Magai
because
family,
when they talk of Magai now,
and you don't admit say
when
yes,
they talk
the
of
right
Magai
letter.
now, my big sister Mamisia, Naina the oldest Magai. Me cousin Mike in Sidona Bamba took next to Ram. Then me. Now the hierarchy that anything when I'm Magai, if you don't get with free with blessing, not to Magai.
But why, but if na Magai?
But and you know say like where Estina Nabobi always say, it's a paternity. It's a matter of opinion. Maternity is one of certainty. When they say that this mommy born you, you can't argue. Now from Imbele you they come out. But even the mommy, if he promiscuous, if they keep you under, he can't tell you if na my brother Yagi Bele or na me.
But you not go able to determine that for somebody we don't grow up as a Magai.
I will not go.
Just Magai in PMDC win bond. The SLPP get 15% of bonds. APC get 10% of bond. So they all get for manage that council day. If not to that in a first get for day. Some of the senior now they won't know they see we get for come after the elections for the PR system, especially at the local council level. We said a need for corporate for deliver services.
All right.
But, before we continue with Ando, you know, over the years, National Elections Watch really they forefront for to discuss issues around elections. But this time around, we see more groups that don't come up with similar responsibilities way than they do. So, which is which?
No, National Elections Watch, they actually watch elections. That's the National Elections Watch, not their mandates. So in terms of conversations around election, every group can do them. You know, IGR not they monitor elections or polling day we can go out, but the group we mandated by many people. I mean, even next year credit. Now they everybody on, but National Elections Watch over time now they monitor elections. We don't get other local election observer groups them. So elections is really big. A lot of people in the play part. So for example, Carl they do electoral justice monitoring. They see almost on a daily basis. Carl they show updates so that this will monitor in the show. So in fact, the more you get more hands on deck, the better. But everybody for no say, now your role and for example, opinion polling around elections. You see say IGR now area than they now they do them. So the more we recognize their roles in their civil society, and of course we even coordinate with
Tensions on social media, audio messages here and there. But we see so far the process don't they go from observation, somebody where they don't they work on issues around elections, also issues around good governance and for make sure say the country be peaceful. How you see the
No matter how much you knock chest or wear t-shirt or dance, if that party the kind of power is not help you, you are dumb, you are finished.
Right.
So then get for pay attention to waiting at the plans of the party then.
all right, get for votes.
Obviously I get for both.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Andrew Lavali.
I want to ask Andrew something.
Yes.
We ask you, waiting that you estimate of the level of the peacefulness of the elections. You say relatively. Well, you don't hear what happened at Bompton, so
Yes.
we then boss that chairman, deputy APC chairman.
Yes.
Yeah, you say na Falaba, the clerk of parliament, he take people there, he give them military uniform, he give them OSD uniform, when na impersonation, he could go to jail for 15 years.
But now alleged and this, sir. Now evidence day.
Mama, evidence day.
Say now he give the instruction.
No, he led them. Not to instructions. Now, in day before then, I take them go inside Falaba. Yeah, what happened na Karine.
Yes.
You hear what happened na Pujam, where them beat the APC people then there. You hear what happened na Kailam.
Yes.
With all of those, would you say it is relatively safe?
Yes.
When APC then don't train na be me? Like Salone on fire.
No, compared to
Mr. Magai,
Togo-
that's a huge statement for me.
No, I mean it.
From
You see, APC
an
they don't
elderly
rise
statesman.
down. But they say election, they not say go fet. You want go fet, go here na Ukraine.
All right, so let we end up the program now, Mr. Magai. That was huge statement for me on this medium from an elderly statesman like Charles Magai.
Very
I
appropriate.
I hope you know me, Nasa.
I mean, 100%.
All right, so let we look at they support the APC.
I know they support the APC in
I'm
a
coming in the
coalition.
western area, which means they say nobody for mayor. PMDC
No,
say
no,
nobody
we don't
for mayor.
say.
And so as you the left wing now the program, Salonians are listening. Elections on the 24th, not long from now. Waiting you want to let them remember you for, so they go vote for you.
As the redeemer, the savior, the game changer.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thank you for hosting me.